We are wired and use PowerPoint, but we also go Facebook Live. Now what that means is that while I am giving the reflection or the message, we are live on Facebook. Now the camera is just on me, so none of you will be shown. And that is recorded then, and it is available on Facebook. And Barb, our social media wizard, also uploads that then to our website so that people who have not been here, who have not been able to come to the service this morning can also view it then later. So, and it's also put up on our YouTube channel so that those who have not been able to be actually physically present today have many opportunities to see at least the reflection part of our service. So welcome to those of you on our media and to those of you here physically with us as well. Will you pray with and for me, please? Joy of joys, give us words of love to speak and hear. May we bring celebration and grace to a world hungering for unexpected hope. In all your names, amen. So Isaiah and Luke, when we hear these two passages, they seem to be speaking at sort of cross purposes when we think about joy. Because Isaiah is indeed all about joy. Drawing water with joy, singing for joy, glorifying God. It's all about excitement and elevation and joy. But Luke, listen to what Luke is talking about. He's describing John the Baptizer's lecture to those who came to him at the Jordan River, and they're looking for a new way of life. And he didn't make it easy for them. He's not making it at all easy. He wanted them to change their entire way of living, which is hard for any of us who have tried even to try a new diet, much less, change our entire way of living. And not only their way of thinking, but their entire actual factual economics. John caught them where the rubber really meets the road. John said that the soldiers, who were not just the army, but the equivalent of the police force of the time, he said, don't try to get extra money from the people. Be satisfied with just what you get paid. In other words, don't take bribes. Because that was how they got extra money. There was a little extra, sweetener to their salary. Because apparently they would falsely accuse people of crimes and extort a bribe in order to drop the charges. Anyone read the book or see the movie Serpico? Remember that from way back in the 70s? Serpico? It's about corruption in the New York City Police Department. And there's nothing new under the sun, folks. That's what the Roman army was doing, except it was throughout the entire Roman army. And the tax collectors, who were for the most part actually natives, they were Jewish people, and they were told the same thing. Because, the Romans had a certain amount of taxes that they wanted collected. And so, each tax collector was told you need to turn in X amount of taxes, and anything you collect on top of that is gravy for you. So they were, so that was what they were doing, and so they would get as much more on top of that X amount that they were supposed to turn in as they could squeeze out of people. So they had to be careful not to get too much, because then, the people would revolt and they would refuse to pay anything, and then the tax collectors would be in trouble. So it was a fine line. But the tax collectors were often seen as traitors, by the people, which is why they were often seen as outcasts. Jesus, they talk about, he eats with tax collectors and sinners. That's why the tax collectors were lumped with sinners, because they were seen as traitors. So John isn't telling them to quit their jobs. He's telling them to do them right, to be moral about their jobs. Don't take more than you're supposed to. Take your salary. Don't steal from other people. Don't oppress others, in other words. So then John tells the crowds that the anointed one, which is what Messiah means, is coming soon. And then he'll clear the threshing floor of the chaff and burn it up. And that chaff is what's left after the grain, which is what they make flour out of or feed the cattle. And the straw are taken away. It's useless to anyone. Chaff is all those bits and pieces and things that nobody can use. It's bits of grass and weeds and dirt. It's not good for anything at all. And so it's swept up and tossed into the furnace to be burned, to keep the threshing floor clean and clear. Well, so here's the question. How is any of this good news? Because Luke tells this like it's good news. He says, this is the good news. John is telling us good news. But frankly, it sounds more than a little threatening. Shape up, John is saying to the soldiers and to the tax collectors. This is what you need to do, or you'll be destroyed. Scary news, not good news. I don't know. I don't think I'd be too inclined to say, oh yeah, that's good news. Okay, I'm on board. Yeah, John's got the good news. But the thing is, most of the people in the crowd were not soldiers. Were not tax collectors. They were mostly people who had suffered under tax collectors and soldiers. They had seen family members and friends taken away by the soldiers, or had had to pay heavy bribes to the soldiers, or had to pay high taxes, or had to hide some of their belongings or their crops to avoid those high taxes. For them, this was good news. If the tax collectors and soldiers listened and changed their ways, it was very good news. And there was hope then. Their families would not be divided. Taxes would be fair. There would be no more extortion or bribery. And that would be cause for joy indeed. You see, joy is not simply intense happiness. Joy is about reversal, about things we thought could never be coming true. We often think of joy as being that intense happiness, but joy is more than that. Happiness, even extreme happiness, is about expected things. When your friend finally comes through the arrival gate at the airport, or you see the raise posted at your next paycheck, right? That's expected. Joy is about what we didn't expect, what we thought couldn't happen, what we worked so hard to have happen, even though we weren't sure it ever would. The college degree after years of struggle, the marriage to our best friend that's finally made legal, a child added to the family after so many tears and so much longing, a home after so much time on the street, diagnosis and treatment after so much pain. That is the definition of joy. And that's what this crowd was feeling. That possibility of no more oppression, of being able to live freely. And the soldiers and the tax collectors too, they now had that opportunity, and they must have been feeling it, that opportunity of being able to have real human relationships instead of those based on fear and aggression. The thought that things could change. The idea of reversal. The possibility of joy. Christmas carries the potential for joy. What is the joy that you're looking for? The joy that you need? What is the joy that you could give to someone? We have both within us. Our own need for a reversal for joy, because we are all hurting and in need in some way. And the potential to give that joy to someone else, because we all have gifts to offer, to share, of love, of grace, of hope, of peace, of ourselves. This Advent season, share joy in all God's names. Amen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's lead story once again is Megastorm Hercules.
Yes, and though it seems to be settling over the entirety of the continental United States,